It's a great, great day. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Let's get straight into this. Yes, yes, good afternoon, people. It's the one man show. I don't even care. I'm in good spirits. It's me. I'm back. It's the review. Arsenal 3, Spurs 1. What a beautiful victory that is. And it could be made even better because I'm hearing Liverpool getting absolutely slapped by Brighton. And I think Palace are beating Chelsea as well. So it could be a wonderful weekend of football for me. The beauty of playing that early game is I could sit back and just relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Them Spurs guys are rattled. I was just on Paxton Road TV show. It was a great show. So big up Sam, big up Darius, Mike, Sid, the rest of the guys. Appreciate having me on. And Deji was on there as well. They had to eat a bit of humble pie. They were talking a lot, especially Deji. But yeah, it was nice to see them humbled. But yeah, great performance by Arsenal. Come out worthy winners. And that's what it's about in that kind of game, isn't it? Form goes out the window. It's about getting them 3 points, playing against a tough, resilient, stubborn team in Tottenham. Again, they hadn't been beat this season, so yeah, it's good to get that first defeat under Conte's belt this season. Put them back where they belong, sitting pretty at the top of the table, knowing that we're top of the table for another week. Again, we can sit back and watch the rest of the games. But let's get into it. So starting 11. I think everyone was just waiting to see if Odegaard was fit and Partey. Once we kind of seen they was in the squad, we knew they'd be starting. And then the next other talking point really is just Tierney and Zinchenko. I think that's the only position at the moment where it could be one or the other. We could be saying about Tomiyasu and Ben White, but Tommy hasn't started the game all season. Ben White's kind of firmly got that shirt at the moment, so in the Premier League at least. So yeah, the starting 11, no real changes. Like it was what we was expecting to see. And we started the game very, very well. As usual, we've been very good first half at the moment. Been really impressed with our start. We stifled them, we strangled them, had them in their own half, can't get out. So really good start, and almost took the lead with Martinelli having a great effort, hit the post. Um, and it was only a matter of time, I think. Our dominance was there to be for all to be seen. And then we did get the opening goal, and what a goal it was. I think one of the commentators said it was, I think, 22 passes, which was similar to the Brentford game a fortnight ago. 22 passes, and then Partey, what a finish. Um, we've seen he's been in them positions a lot for Arsenal and fails to hit the target. But if you're going to score one, there's no better way of doing it against Spurs as well. So what a great goal by him. Um, and yeah, fully deserved the lead at that point. I think Tottenham maybe had one chance. I think Richarlison had a chance which Ramsdale saved, but he looked offside anyway. Game carried on afterwards, but I'm pretty sure he was offside. So apart from that, we was very, very comfortable. And then the moment of madness happens. Yeah, they caught us on the counter. They did start to get into the game. I would say the last 15 minutes of the first half, there was starting to be a few holes opening up. They were getting in behind a bit, leaving one or two up high, and then counter attacking long ball over the top. We was looking a bit at all the sorts. Um, and then the mistake happened. So I think we done well to slow down the attack. It was a bad pass through to Richarlison, who sent him a bit wide. Ramsdale closed the angle, cross came in, dealt with it. Second ball's kind of come in, and then there's the big mistake. It's Xhaka on the edge of the box. I think he's gone to cushion it back to Gabriel. Completely undercooked it. Richarlison takes the ball, takes it in on his left foot. Looks like he's going to shoot. So Gabriel kind of tries to intercept or make a block, um, and mistimes it, gets caught, and he touches Richarlison, and yeah, it's a penalty. Um, so yeah, between the two of them, and they're the two that are kind of making most of the mistakes this season. No doubt about it. They're good players. They've been playing fantastic football. But we do need to just kind of, yeah, we're just making them same mistakes, and it's the same two players over and over again. So I remember I called it a few weeks ago that I would actually give Ben White a try in the middle and maybe bring Tomiyasu back on the right hand side. I'm definitely up for that in the next game. Actually, Gabriel will start. He's a natural left footer, but he can't keep making these mistakes. And Xhaka as well has to be better in that position. Like, yes, we want to play football. Yes, we're dominating the ball. Yes, we want to be composed. But at that time there, he can just hook that. We're about 7 minutes away from the end of the first half. Getting at 1-0, like just getting at 1-0, that one could just get hooked away. He takes the risk trying to play the back pass and completely undercooks it. And Harry Kane, once it's a penalty, you know the outcome. And I'm sitting there thinking, not again. It's another penalty we give away against Spurs. Um, we managed to get to the end of the half, and again, I'll be honest. At that point, I'm nervous, thinking like they could easily go 2-1 up in this next 5-10 minutes. So fair play to the boys. They got back together, got through, got us to half time. And I'm sitting there again. I'm nervous, thinking this is set up perfectly for Tottenham. We've got to come out on the front foot. We've got to try and break them down. And we're there for the counter attack. Second half started, no changes, and much of the same. We dominated the ball again, controlled the game. Do you know what I mean? Was probing, very patient. And then Saka picks up the ball. He does what he done all game, cut inside, beat 2 or 3 of them as per usual. Lets off the shot. Lloris makes a save. It's a not a comfortable save, but he should do better with it. Like he's got to push it more to the side, but he's put it back in a dangerous area. It's hit the defender, it's bounced under Lloris and Jesus, who's the sharpest in the box. He just gets himself an easy tap in. I'm happy because he's in my fantasy team. He gets a goal, and we're 2-1 up. So yeah, the celebrations start. And after that game, we're controlling the game. We're so comfortable. Spurs now offering very little. First half they did make an effort. Second half it was very easy. And then the moment of madness happens, which I normally see Arsenal do. If you remember, Rob Holding at White Hart Lane got himself sent off. But this time it's the other way around. Emerson Royale, who Arsenal were linked with. I'm so glad we didn't get him because he's been awful since he's gone to Spurs. And we've definitely got the better right back in Tomiyasu, even though he's not playing right back at the moment. And Ben White's got that shirt. So, yeah, we definitely got better options in that position than him. But yeah, he makes a rash tackle on Martinelli. No need for it in the slightest. Is it a red? Let red law, yes. In terms of it's a North London derby, there's not much force behind it. Like it's a bit soft, but we got another one. Hold on, it's my guy Sid.
Yes, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. And it's perfect timing, to be honest, because we're getting into the Emerson Royale red card. So I've put my thoughts across, but it'd be good to hear Tottenham's perspective because, yeah, for me, it's a silly tackle. There's no need for it. However, letter of the law. Yes, it's a red, but it's a North London derby. Like, and it's the same I felt with Holding last year, where it's enough. You've got to let some of these things go. Like, it's got to be a passionate game. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
What thoughts on it? Like, yeah,
So
what about you?
for me, right, Holding last season, you could understand why, because he was getting frustrated. Son was running rings around him, and he'd already had a bite at Son, and then Son just got him in his head, and then he's just gone and done that stupid challenge, right? Today, Emerson Royal didn't even have to do that because Martinelli's not even going towards our goal. He's going back towards your goal, right? Emerson's not even anywhere near him, but then he's decided to go and have a go at him. Now, why? If you're already going backwards, why you even have put pressure on him? Yes, but don't do what he done. Is that challenge? All right, looking at it, I probably thought, you know what, a yellow card at the most. But if you're looking at the letter of the law, and which is what all the referees are following now, when they can be bothered, it's a red, and he sent him off. However, my say on that is now every single. I mean, Van Dijk a couple of weeks ago should have got a red. He never got one. So now you have to. You've set it in precedence. Now you're gonna have to start red carding people for challenges that maybe could be a yellow. But I think it's just stupidity, and what it is I think Emerson Royal is trying to prove too much to Tottenham fans and Conte. Conte's got a lot of trust in him, but he's prone to these stupid mistakes, and unfortunately, he's done it against you lot. And he's gonna have to bear the consequences.
Yeah. But and do you know what's stupid about it? It was lazy because there's loads of ways you can leave something on a player
Exactly.
without getting red. So even if you just track Martinelli, once Martinelli passes it, just lean into him, put your foot there for him to kick your foot, do anything. Do you know what I mean? But don't just stamp down like that. And again, there was no in that position. There's no need for making a rash tackle like that. And
No.
I think the game wouldn't say it wasn't over because you guys were always carrying a threat on the
Yeah.
counter against us, but at that stage you were looking quite toothless. The first half I think you carried a massive threat. Second half not so much, and then Nat straight away just kills you lot. But do you think this is going to give you the opportunity to kind of maybe try Jed Spence now going forward? Because it's like sometimes you need to stumble upon something to make you realize, oh, actually, yes, for whatever reason Conte's not playing him, but actually maybe him just doing a 50-yard run. Because I saw Martinelli do one earlier where he took the ball from defence,
Mm.
traveled the whole pitch. Jed Spence might just do that, and it might make Conte think actually this adds another dynamic, like something we're not having at the moment. So, do you feel this could be the kind of start of something new for Spurs because he's going to be gone for 3 games, so you've got to replace him with someone.
Do you know what? We've just discussed this, didn't we, on Paxton Road? And
Mm,
last season against you lot, he nailed Martinelli, didn't he, completely
mm.
going
Yeah,
forward.
silenced him.
And then we've done obviously our scouts and Paratici have done their research homework and they've gone and bought him.
Mm,
Now, what's concerning for me, and I've done this on Sid Says as well, and we've discussed this. Conte has said it not once, not twice, many times. He's a club signing. He's a player for the future.
mm,
So, does that mean Conte didn't want the player in the first place?
mm.
Was he forced? Was his hand forced? You know what I mean? And
So with that this wording, he's a club signing.
yeah,
Does that worry you in terms of Conte, how he sees himself at the club? Because if I'm here for a long time, I'm here for 4 or 5 years, I'll be saying that he's a future signing.
yes,
But by saying he's a club signing means he's going to be at the club longer than me. Does that make you kind of wary? Again, we know what Conte's about. He's here for the short term.
yeah,
Let me win a trophy and then I'm out. He's like Mourinho, two
yes.
years, maybe three max at a club.
Mm,
But where does that kind of leave you in terms of the development of this team? Because yeah, we've seen teams do it where you play for now, but actually it could really hamper your long-term vision of the club. Like, and you're not a team who spend money like City
yeah,
or Chelsea, where actually we're going to bin off them 10. I'm going to buy you 15 new players, totaling a billion. Like
mm,
you lot have a more of a structure, a bit like Arsenal, a bit like Liverpool, where there's a bit more of a structure. So if Conte gets it wrong, just say you don't win anything in this period, he leaves, and Jed Spencer's been rotting for 2 years. Now he's got to come in again. Son, Kane, they're getting to I mean, they're getting near the 30s. I'm not sure how old Hoiberg is and Bentancur, but yeah, it's you've got to get that. Yes, you want to play experienced players, but do you feel you need to put a few more youth players in there now and let them? Even Perisic, he's what 34, something like that.
34. You know what it is? We 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 are not known for bringing players out from the academy, apart from
Mm.
Skip. To be fair, there's a few that got potential. Parrott gone on loan. Brewster's gone on loan.
Is Scarlett still around?
Scarlett, sorry, yeah, Scarlett's gone on loan. But it's Conte doesn't believe in bringing young players, and I think now the philosophy at Spurs isn't bringing in youngsters. They're just looking to go and get more players.
Mm,
I'm not worried because Spence is one for the future. He's 21. He is a future
mm,
player. If Conte stays, if Conte goes, I think Spence is one for the future. Now, whether he gets into this situation now with the sending off and the trust in Royal, don't forget, Conte's got a lot of trust in Royal, and he said it a lot. I trust this guy, I trust this guy. However, at some point, you've got to realize, do you know what? This guy, as much as I trust him, my trust has got to run out at some point. And
mm,
Spence has to be given an opportunity. There's a lot of Spurs fans, and we're on Paxton Road. We've said it a lot as well. Hashtag free Spence and stuff like
yeah.
that. He has to come in. He has to come in at some point because if you're coming from the Championship, like Conte keeps saying, he needs to come into the Prem. He needs to embed himself into the Prem. He's got
Mm,
to get used to the Prem. When are you going to give him that opportunity?
mm,
You have to bring him in, give him 20 minutes, give him 10 minutes. That's what I like about Arteta and other managers. Pep Guardiola, Liverpool, Klopp. They bring youngsters in and they embed them slowly but surely.
mm.
We're not telling him to bring him in and give him full 90 minutes. Bring him in.
Yeah.
And
there's games for it, isn't there? There's
there's games
when you
for
play
it.
not being disrespectful to the lower league teams, but yes, if you're playing Arsenal, you're playing City, you might think I
Yeah,
want the experience of Real.
yeah,
But them other games, you've got to be let him have his run around. Let him have his run about. Let him play, like you're saying, for 60 minutes here and there. And if after
exactly.
them games you think he's not ready yet,
Yeah,
I think you Spurs fans, if you see after 3 games actually he's struggling, you would be honest and say actually yeah he shouldn't be playing yet. But Conte's leaving himself open for criticism because he hasn't given the guy a run out. So yeah,
yeah,
against Arsenal, he might be saying Conte, I can't put him in this game.
yeah.
But you guys
I
are seeing actually what he did against Martinelli last time. Why would you not? Because Martinelli now is second thinking, I'm up against
exactly.
this guy again.
Yeah.
Like the dynamics, what that must say to Martinelli is completely
Mm.
different. So
And
yeah, I
I'm
think
sure you've
yeah,
played football, and I've played football, and my boys play football, and it's exactly what you said. If someone's nailed you one game and you've got to come up against him, you're going to be thinking, not
mm,
him again. Oh my
yeah,
God, I remember the last time he come up against me. You know what I mean? So it
yeah,
is gonna, yeah. And just going back to Spence, 8 games he's played 1 minute so far, and
is
that was
that
the
it?
90th minute substitution against Nottingham Forest for 1 minute.
So he's not even had chance to even prove that he's
No,
not good enough at this level. And
yeah,
yeah, Conte's gonna yeah. And again, I can understand why that will wind the fans up. And
exactly.
we've seen it with our Saliba. Do you know what I mean? Fans were
Mm,
frustrated last year. He got loaned out again, and he's come back a better player. But actually, that loan is probably important because we was only playing 1 game a week. White and Gabriel were having a great partnership, so
yeah.
his time might have been really limited at centre back. So I think it's been an important loan for him.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it is Arsenal street. So actually, let's talk about Saliba. Like, what's your thoughts on him? Like, I'm not saying he pocketed Harry Kane, but a few times Harry Kane got the wrong side and he caught him within seconds and dealt with
Yeah.
him very composed on the ball. Like, was you impressed with what you've seen from him?
Do you know what? Saliba's
What's your
got
thoughts on
pace
him?
on him, and unfortunately, Harry Kane hasn't. I mean, he showed a bit of burst of pace for England the other day, but apart from that, I think everyone knows that Kane hasn't got that burst of pace.
Mm,
However, we discussed this yesterday. We done the best 11, me and Sam, and Saliba was no hesitation, no hesitation. Him and Romero were the two, but
yeah,
and I said for 20, somebody who you bought originally, and then I think Arsenal fans, if I'm wrong, correct me, were having doubts about him, and even the manager was like a bit doubt about him, and then you sent him out on loan, and that loan spell I think has done him wonders because this season, and I said this to you the other day, I think he's been one of your best players. His defensive qualities, the way he attacks the ball, is so comfortable on the ball as well, and not only that, he's actually scoring goals. I think he scored 2 goals, hasn't he
yeah, he's
already?
got two, yeah,
Yeah, so I think you've got a really, really good player there. 21 years old, isn't he? You've got a
yeah,
very, and he's going to get better and better.
yeah. I watch how composed he is sometimes,
Mm,
and this is where sometimes you have to trust that you've maybe it's a bit of arrogance, like the French, not being horrible, tend to have this arrogance about
yes.
themselves, like they believe in themselves a bit more than some other countries. And um, he just carries it again. He's taking the ball in areas and he's just dropping shoulders. Like he's just got this, he believes in himself and the
Mm,
comfortability. And again, sometimes we see Gabriel getting a bit rash or a few others. He just doesn't seem to do that at the moment. So yes, he's going to have a bad dip. There's no doubt about it. He's a young kid. Um, we saw when Fafana first come to the league, he looked unbelievable, and then he had a little dip after his injury. So it will happen. I think the fans have got to support him through it, but it looks like we've got one hell of a centre back there.
yeah,
And I'm looking forward to, do you know what I mean, the future with him. And I think this is what's good for Arsenal. And again, as much as us fans are getting excited and carried away a bit, um, I think long term, the project, I think, is what we're excited about. Again, all our players are
they're
under
young, aren't they?
25, apart from Partey and Xhaka, like everyone's
Yeah,
under 25. So there's a long there's a longevity in this team where you could say actually for the next we should be if we keep kicking on in this way, who knows where we could end up. I know other teams will buy the better players, but
yeah.
it's a nice feeling at the moment. We're going to bring this guy in. Um, yes, and Mr. Omondi, long time. How you been?
Just enjoying a great game of football, and I'm listening to your discussion. I just wanted to jump on, say
Feel free.
your Gamza, you're brilliant, bruv. The way you describe the game, the way you break it down, and you it's a credit to the channel, man, because there's no beefing or anything like that. It's a quality game of football. And Sid, you're very brave to come on here, but great discussion. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm really enjoyed the game of football,
Yeah.
and it's great that we can all get along and talk about it afterwards. But yeah, I just
mm,
thought it was a fantastic game, and
yeah.
yeah.
Give us. So we got to the red card we was talking earlier. The third goal, I can't remember really too much what happened. I know we kind of broke on you. I
Yeah.
think Martinelli cut inside, Xhaka took the ball, hit it bottom corner, and the game's done at that moment. But that can happen when you got 10 men chasing the game. That can happen. So I'm not really gonna delve too much into the third. But in terms of, and I think it's quite good we got a Monday on here. We got three teams who are kind of on the up at the moment. I'll be honest. As we see Liverpool getting beat at the moment and Chelsea are struggling. What do you make, Monday, of Arsenal at the moment? Takeaway, obviously, you lot got a good victory against us, but and again, I know you're an honest man. In all honesty, where do you think this team could go this season? I'm not saying we're going to go for titles, but when we played you at Old Trafford, we dominated the game again. But you guys do what you do to us. You counter on us and beat us. It happens. That's what could happen today against Spurs. But are you seeing a difference from the outside looking in? Are you seeing a difference in this team?
Look, the first question you ask is like, where can you go from here? You got to earn the right to decide what your future what's in your future. And I think you're earning the right week in, week out with some really marvelous results. I love the way you play. You're very potent. You're up there now with Liverpool in a different way and Man City about, we're going to score every game. We're a threat. We had so much difficulty, Man United, against your two wide men. One-on-one situations is so difficult to play against, And then you've got such flair and creativity in midfield as well. You've got Partey just pop, stringing passes together. And Jesus is just a monster of a player, so difficult to deal with. When you look at, compare Jesus with Kane, for example, two different players, but who's more effective at the moment? There was a stat, when they do these stupid comparisons, who's got better skill, who's faster, who's got better finishing, they done that comparison, and Jesus came out on top, and I couldn't argue with it. Jesus is a beast. I mean, the way he was occupying two of our defenders and being a nuisance and getting his hand in there, clawing people. I just didn't know he had that in his game. And for his size and everything else, he's amazing. And you saw what he did. He had a little quick feet in the box. You couldn't do anything. He just went glided through, and there's no space, but he still managed it. So I think you have to earn the right to be title challengers. And at the moment, it's going to get to the stage where people are going to start saying, well, Arsenal are clearly up there. They've only lost one game all season. I think they've won the remaining of the other games.
Yeah, won every game.
Spurs as well, quite convincingly by the scoreline. But I was going to say, coming to Spurs as well, I've also been impressed with them. In the first half, they had some good opportunities. The game plan was working. It was working. You have to be honest with this. And, they caught you a couple of times with Carlson, thinking, well, why is he playing? He was really strong. They could have, really finished their dinner, and it would have been a different game. It's unfortunate, I think, for the game. I would have preferred Spurs as a neutral. I would have preferred Spurs to score first, because that would have been a game plan. Then they had to play out. They had to come out of their shell a little bit, and that's when it sort of got a bit open, because it was like the irresistible force against the immovable object. That sort of title, that challenge today. And I thought Conte, the way he set up Spurs, he started off exactly how I thought he would. I just think we gave the blueprint recently that even though Arsenal are a great side going forward, very potent, and it's hard to sort of manage them, there's also deficiencies at the back, as we saw in today. You did it again. You look for the overload in midfield by bringing the left back in to midfield as an inverted position. That left three at the back, that leaves gaps. So if you do give the ball away, it could be a problem, which was almost exploited by Tottenham in the first half. So there's so many variables in the team, but it's encouraging if you continue playing the way you play, and you can break teams down like Spurs, who are probably one of the most drilled teams until they're thrown up and puking in pre-season. So drilled, so determined in their setup and their shape. If you're able to break them down in open play the way you did, that speaks volumes for Arsenal Football Club, and it's Arsenal's day to day. But I also have to applaud Spurs as well. They're a giant, and they're growing as a team as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel, I said on Paxton Road just now, first half, I think, first 20, 25, we were good. But actually, we could have easily gone in at halftime 2-1 down. I think if the final ball from Spurs was better, because they had a lot of 3v2s, and the last ball was just, even in the second half, Romero had one. He just kind of hit it into Saliba. And that was the difference with United. Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen cut us open with some passes. There was one, Saliba done a 360. Hokey Cokey, whatever it was, he lost Rashford. Like, he didn't, do you know what I mean? And that was the difference. That quality of pass was just the difference in them two games. Because, we set up the same. We're going to come at every team And I like the fact that we're going to every team and we're playing football. There's no more swapping between a 4 and a 5 for us. There's no more we're going to try and sit in and counter. This is our style. Arteta's got his players. This is how we're playing. And we're seeing it now. We're going toe to toe with everybody. Again, next week could be another test against Liverpool. And do we do the same against City? But apart from that, I think every game we go into, we're going in the team on the front foot, the team who's going to have probably more possession, which I quite like. Because you know me, I'm a football man. So I want to, if we come third but play beautiful football, I'll be happy with that this season. Or fourth with beautiful football, I'm good. Like, I think our objective is different to Spurs. They need that trophy. And with Conte, again, he's a trophy manager. He's not a rebuilder, is he? Do you know what I mean? As such, or someone who's for the future. So we're on different kind of paths. So for you guys, you'll probably say, you know, I'll take a beat. As you said earlier, if we lose this but go on and do something special, so be it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's quite exciting. I think there is almost like a little turnaround at the moment where I think us three are looking better than Chelsea and Liverpool, not just result wise, but actually the structure of the club. So United have got a few things they need to work out, but you can now see with Ten Hag, now you've got the right manager. Hopefully the board now follow his example, what he sets, and you're kind of on the up. Tottenham they are strong. Like my mum, I watched my mum today, and she was like, they look so strong. Like everyone's 6 foot, and I said, yeah, they're not easy to beat. Like and with the strikers you got, if you can keep a clean sheet, you're going to win 95% of the matches because you've got killers up front. So I think all three of us should be quite happy with where we're at the moment and what the future holds. And I'm actually looking for a good shootout between the three of us. I think it's going to be really, really interesting second half of the season. Sid, where do you see the top 4 being coming into the season?
I told you, you know what? You guys at the moment, right? You've got the ascendancy, and you know what? One game I'm looking forward to, right? Man City, Arsenal, because he's going to have 2 teams that actually want to play football, will play football, right? And then when the push comes to the shove, in terms of attacking, they've got the powers, and they've got people that can score goals. So that game for me, it's going to be the master versus the apprentice, isn't it? And that is going to be a cracking game, which I'm looking forward to, because it will see how far you guys are coming along as well. I mean, also see how far City are. When we all know how good City are, how strong City are. But I think at this precise moment, if there's one team that can sort of push City's level that little bit higher, is Arsenal. The way you lot are playing, and it's like Omandi said, you lot, when the way you're playing football, you play every game with the same mentality. We go out, we go and attack teams, we try and beat them and score goals. You're not going like Spurs are doing, where we sit at the back, we'll let them come at us, and then we'll press them or we'll counter them and try and win the game that way, then sit back. You lot just go for it. Like when you went 1-0 up today, we came back into the game 1-1. We took over the ascendancy, but you still held firm. And then halftime whistle, you came back at us. Second half, whistle went, you came back at us. You know, it was none of this, oh, they were the better team towards the end of the first half. Let's sit back. Let's concentrate. Let's see what happens. No, you just thought, you know what? No, we're going to go back at them. Let's see what they can do. You know what I mean? And
pose the question.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really, for me, it's going to be interesting, because this World Cup is going to throw everything up in the air, because players are going to go to the World Cup. Players are going to come back knackered. And if I'm correct, it's about 5 to 7 days. If, for example, England get to the final, I think there's 5 days between the World Cup final and the next Premiership game. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to come down to which managers got it up here, which players have got it up here, and which team settles the best, doesn't take the World Cup as oh no, we've got a 2-week break, continue their fitness, and whoever comes back running off them blocks, and it could be Man United, it could be or Tottenham, it could be Arsenal, it could be Man City, it could be Liverpool, but out of the 5, to give City a run for their money, I think at this moment my money's on Arsenal, because the way you're playing, youngsters, they're hungry. And look at Xhaka. Look what's happened to Xhaka since you've moved him forward that position, you know, and you've got some ballers in your team. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting this season.
I like that. I like that.
Wonderful. Isn't it wonderful that Sid can come on here and talk without any sort of snideness or anything
Yeah,
like
I
that.
like this. Yeah, man. This
Honestly,
is
like, Sid, big
Listen,
up, man. You're
Amandi,
really
yeah,
honest.
100%.
you know what it is, Amandi? It's like Gumza said, football fans. Yes, there's rivalry. Yes, I don't like getting beat by Arsenal, but at the end of the day, if my rivals are beating us and they've beat us convincingly, I'm not going to sit back and defend my team and say, you know what? No, they were shit, blah blah blah. No,
Yeah,
you've got to
referee.
give
Yeah,
credit where it's due. And Gumza knows me and Darius and people like that. We're as good. We'll give it as good as we can get. If we get defeat, we take it graciously.
100%. Could I ask a question while I got you two here?
Go on.
Is it official now? Can we officially take that Banter FC off my club's name now, please? Or have we still got to go a bit further down the line? Like, you're gonna officially take it off our name now? Like,
It's a
let's
it's a
put that. Let's take that
marathon.
to
It's not a
Anfield now.
sprint.
Cop talk. Can we get that to Cop Talk, please? Now they got to hold that for a few months at least. But all jokes aside, we're going to get into some player ratings, and then while we're here, let's talk about City's game against United tomorrow. Because I think that would be interesting. So let's quickly do some player ratings. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys think of Arsenal's player ratings, and we can do Spurs ones as well. I'm nice. I like to keep it, equal on this show. So we start with Ramsdale. We'll go on Monday. What would you give Ramsdale?
I don't
Didn't
give
have much to
halves. I
say.
just give straight numbers. I'm going to give
Yeah.
Ramsdale a 6 today. I think he's a fantastic keeper. I think he should be England's number one. We saw Pope the other day spill the ball out of his hands, that kind of thing. He gives you that extra man, the way he's able to distribute the ball, be a third man in defence when you bring the ball out, and he can ping balls 2 feet brilliantly. And I think he's a great modern day goalkeeper. And credit to him and credit to you guys for persisting with that move and getting him in, because now it looks like, oh God, is a natural in your side. So I'm going to give him a 6, just strictly because he didn't have much to do, but what he did do, he done well.
And again, that's the sign, and that lets fans know, be quiet sometimes. We don't know what we're always talking about, because I don't think any Arsenal fan wanted Ramsdale. I think all rival fans were laughing their heads off, thinking you've got a relegated keeper. You've just lost 2 games on the row, about to be free. You're going to get another. He's going to get another team relegated. So that's the one signing for me which stands out more than anything. Of sometimes just trust what the manager's doing. They know their stuff. Ben White, Sid, this is a position you lot struggle with. White right back. So Ben White, what are we getting for him?
I think he done well. Saying that though, I don't think he was given that much of a test, to be fair. Once or twice, I think Perisic got at him, but I think he was quite comfortable. Honestly, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't have to do anything major. He never got into any trouble. So I'll give him a 7 because, I think 7 is about right.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And I think he's given us them constantly this season. Tomiyasu can't get his shirt back, and
this is it.
Yeah,
and this is a centre back who's playing as a right back, so you've got to give him credit.
Yeah, definitely. For me, so I'll go Saliba centre back. It's a straight 9. I'm waiting for the one game where I'm thinking like, who's gonna really test him? I know United, they caught him with a couple of passes, but again, in the one-on-one side of things, he's not getting. Like he looks like the best defender at our club, and I'm watching how composed he is, and I'm just like, it's silly. And then when I'm watching some other players panic, I'm thinking this young kid next to you is just making life look easy. And for that nutmeg in the second half on the edge of your box, you see the man going, whoop, little ones in there. So yeah, I've got to give him a 9. I think he was really good today, and he's playing against Harry Kane and Son's on his side as well. So to to do what he done, I've got to give him a high score. On Monday, you can have Gabriel.
I'm a defender. I'm a centre back, and I do agree with you. Saliba is a fantastic player, and I was really particularly watching him today to see how he'd fare up against Harry Kane and Son. He is a maestro. He's an elite centre back on his way to being an elite centre back, and I really have to take a bow. What a fine young talent that you've got there, Gabriel. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm quite, I'm quite scrutinizing players. I really like to scrutinize them. I give him a 4. Not that he's better than me, but I've noticed with Gabriel, he's got a mistake in him. We saw it against Man United. Saliba wasn't at fault so much. It was Gabriel coming out of position, leaving his block. And once again today, he made a few errors, crucial errors for defending, where I felt, wow, Gabriel, you need to improve your reputation. You've got a young man beside you. You need to sort of set an example for him. But it's the other way around. So 4 for Gabriel for me. He needs to improve.
Unfortunately, the dreams didn't come true for him, did they?
So left back Sid Sinchenko.
I honestly, do you know what? We had this discussion on Paxton Road. You quite rate him. I don't think he's as good as what everyone makes him out to be. And today again, I don't think he had such a great game because we didn't do anything. We didn't stretch him. We didn't give him any one-on-ones. We didn't give him any cause for concern. The only time, the only problem with him is he tends to go invert a lot. He tends to go in a lot, which creates a lot of space down that side. And then when he does that, it puts you guys in a bit of a predicament because you haven't got anyone there to cover that space. So he drifts in too much. Now I don't know whether he's been told to do that or not.
Yes, yeah.
But
Yeah.
even at City, I didn't rate him as much as everyone else did because he was a bit player for City, and I think he didn't play that much at City unless Arteta gets him drilled week in, week out, and he starts playing consistently. Because for me, your left back, there can only be one left back at your team, and that's Tierney, mate. He on his day, mate. I rate him so highly, yeah. And when he gets back to fitness, I don't think Zinchenko's going to get back at left back. So I'm going to give him a 4.
Ooh, you lot are harsh. I like this though. Um, so yeah, moving to midfield. Now, I would take Xhaka, but they say I've got an agenda against him, so I'm not going to take Xhaka
I'll take
because
Xhaka.
one of you two could have it because I do think he was at fault for the first goal more than even Gabriel because he gives the ball away stupidly on the edge of his box, and actually if he just either puts more weight on the pass or clears his lines, Gabriel doesn't have to make the tackle, so it's on him more than Gabriel from me. But he then rectifies it by scoring. So I let you lot deal with him. Partey, I give him an 8. I think he's the main cog in the engine. When he doesn't play, you notice it. He just calms everything. He's press resistant. Like he's a difference maker in this team, and he's the most important player in the squad. Jesus and that will get all the plaudits, and rightly so sometimes. But he's the mainstay, and he's the one who he takes all the pressure off everyone else, and probably just calms down the team. And the Monday you played at the back, so you've probably played with players. You know, you've got a person in front of you where he just says, just give me the ball. Under any pressure, there's players around me. You give it to me and trust me, and I'll get you out. And how much easier is it if you're centre back just saying, just give it to him and he'll deal with it. So yeah, we build off him. So he'll get an 8 from. I don't think. Oh, actually, what am I talking about? He scored the goal, didn't he? Oh my God, 9. What am I talking about? Sorry. Yeah, that goal. Oh God, I'm not used to him
Yeah.
scoring. So
Do you know what?
yeah, he's had 100 of them shots, and they normally end up in row Z. But yeah, this
Yeah,
time
my
he got it
boy
right. And
Gumza, my boy
go on.
said to me, yeah, this is the only one time he's gonna have a shot that's on target, and he has to be against
I
Spurs.
think it's your boys. 100%. So no, so I'm upgrading that. Partey gets a 9. What a goal that was actually. Like that. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, Partey 9. Monday, I'm gonna give you Xhaka. Sid, sorry, you're gonna have to get one of them
That's all right.
wingers.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, you spoke about it. You're more qualified than me to talk about it because you're probably observing the game. But I think Xhaka is a good player. Obviously, he's had a good season, and you talk about his XP, his XG, sorry, his goal and assist is
Yeah.
over at the moment. He's really producing, and there was always a question mark: does he play in part of his position as single pivot, as a DM sort of thing, or does he play as a natural number 8? And I assumed he was like an enforcer. I was wrong about that. Obviously, he can play in that position quite comfortably. And as a number 8, you know, as you played like that sort of triangle, 1 deeper, 2 ahead. And it's great he can play double pivot. Do you want to talk about Partey quickly? He, as a single pivot there, like you said, press resistant, controlled. I saw him bring a ball down today. And you might think I was just standard, but the way he did it, I was like, oh my God. The ball was in the air. He just controlled it with 1 foot when there's people around him and just carried on in his stride like nothing. And that is a great technique in tight areas. So anyway, enough about Partey. You've already given him a 9. I'll give him Xhaka a 5. Not that I'm being critical. I just think part of the shape, part of the work that he was doing there is on point. It's just unfortunate, like you say, he was at fault for the goal. Which you have to scrutinise him for. But also, on top of that, I thought with the left back as well, when you do that overload in midfield, it gives him an opportunity to get into those half spaces. And he's good in those areas because he can shoot from outside the box. He's got a subtle pass as well, weighted pass. So I think there's a lot of qualities to him that I wasn't aware of. And I'm glad he's getting on side with the Arsenal fans as well. So I'm
Yeah,
giving
no,
him a 5.
definitely. He has had a good season in terms of his return. Like you said earlier, GNA, he's got 2 goals and 3 assists, which
Really good.
that was probably his total for last year. Like, if I'm honest,
And
so
15 red cards were in it last season.
so yeah, we've definitely seen the improvement, and I think the system and shapes definitely helped him, and releasing him a little bit, saying actually, I don't want you back here doing that stuff. Go up there and play, and that makes a difference. And again, you see it when he does track back, he makes tackles, but sometimes it's just under pressure. It's not the easiest role when you're playing with your back to goal and people are pressing you, but it's their mistakes. But yeah, I think you're harsh with the 5, but
I think he's a bit harsh as well because he got played a match, didn't he, in the game?
yeah, they put it in man of the match, but all the
Yeah.
fans in that talk on all the other channels that's saying it's Gabriel or Saka and others are
I
getting
don't know
it.
about
So
Gabriel. Nah, I disagree with that one.
I don't know how Partey
I have
didn't
no
get it. It was just
loyalty
Partey
to
scored as well.
Arsenal.
So yeah, I
I
don't
want to
know.
hear
I
about
don't know how.
Odegaard. I want
Yeah,
to
we're
hear
coming
about
to
Odegaard,
we're
man.
coming to Odegaard next. Sid, you got Odegaard actually. Yeah, go for it.
I think he done all right. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he was as influential as he could have been.
Mm.
I think Partey, like you said, was, and I think Partey and Xhaka were more influential than Odegaard were. Hence why I think Odegaard was the first one to come off. I still think he should have got booked in the first half for pulling Son's shirt when Spurs were attacking and he pulled him back.
Yeah.
Referee carried on. But on a normal day, that's a yellow card all day long. Because if Eric Dyer gets booked for touching Martinelli's shoulder in the last couple of minutes and gets a yellow for that, pulling a shirt, in my opinion, or if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is a yellow all day long.
Mm.
You know, especially when the team's attacking. But I think I don't think he was as influential as he can be. So I'm gonna give him a 5.
Yeah, I don't think you're really wrong with that. I think
Yeah.
to be fair, I wouldn't have scored anyone below a 6 just because we won against Spurs. But yeah, it was a quieter game for Odegaard. I do agree with that compared to the others. I'm gonna take Martinelli. I think when he saw the team sheet, I think he would have smiled not to see Jed Spence there. So from that, you saw the confidence when he got on that pitch. He was like, okay, I can run at this guy. So I think he was a constant threat. I think the one thing both my wingers have got to do is get just a bit more end product, like not trying to compare them with others, but when you watch the Mo Salahs, Mane, do you know what I mean? Those guys, when they were firing, it's just a bit different than my boys. My boys are still young, so but what they're doing is they're ripping players up, and I love it. So I'm going to give him a 8. I think it was a solid performance from him, a constant threat, I think he keeps you boys pinned back, and when he gets the ball and travels as well, he gets my whole team up the pitch. So yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. Amondi, you got the boy Bukayo.
Woo! Yeah. Oh,
Little
you know
chilly.
what? A few years ago, I watched Saka, and as Sid said, when he played in that role, in the sort of the right inverted forward or winger, whatever you call it, and he was up against Man United. And what really surprised me was the way how strong he was, how quick he was to get to the ball, and how strong he was under pressure with a man on his back, touch tight. He could reel away from them and as if say, "Get off me." You know, he must be feel like rock. He's one of them guys. You look at him and think, I can edge him off the ball. No, he's really strong. And once again, demonstrated today the way he can sort of get away from players, and you know what he's going to do, left foot, but he can also drive down the right as well. He's really he's got a lot of intelligence. When you look at world class players in those positions, and you're saying who's the youngest star out there, you know, I think he gives you a lot of balance, a lot of maturity. This is why he could play for England in Euros last year. So he's not going to do the step overs and that kind of thing, but he's very effective. And I think I commend him, not just because he's one from my area, grew up here, and he went to my mum's, taught him at school and all that kind of thing, but because of his maturity. For a young player like that, whatever you're doing at Arsenal with these youngsters coming through, like the other guy the other day, they've got this level of maturity there, and making decision making is on point. And he's not one of these guys who's got an ego or anything like that. So I can't do nothing but praise the guy. Today I'm going to give him a 7. 5 for me is average. I'm giving him a 7. I thought his performance was really good, and I think we gave you that balance. You gave props to Martinelli, but equally on the other side, you got a guy there who's just causing problems. And look how many times you've done the overlap. I saw the first goal. I thought it was a replay in the second half, because they've done it as another overlap thing where they dinked it. I said, wait a minute, is this a replay? And I realized, no, the game's kicked off. They're showing it's the same move.
Yeah,
and this
pattern,
is what you like to see. You can see a pattern of play here where he's so strong, where people are like, right, here's Xhaka with the ball. jockey, and that gives time for an overlap and for someone to come in. So fantastic player, fantastic, gives you fantastic balance. Where's Pepe? I don't know, but it's amazing. He can just edge Pepe out the team.
Innit?
That's how good he is. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah,
And
Pepe's in France, living it up.
yes,
But
and
yeah,
I was
go
going
on,
to say,
Sid.
sorry, thank you. Sorry, Gumza, on what Oman is just saying, just to add one more thing to him with Saka. If there's ever one player that you would associate with a team player, it's this guy, because this guy plays for the team. You know, he always puts someone else in front. If he has to, he'll open it up for someone else to run into space and create. And he's like a creator. He scores goals, but as a team player, mate, he's next level.
We had a conversation after the Brentford game because he's not putting up numbers at the moment. He's not scoring many. He's not getting many assists. But I'm saying he's in some of the best form he's played, and people are like, "No, he's not been good." I'm like, "You lot are just watching stats too much because what he does do is he creates space for everyone else." Like Monday
That's
saying,
right.
you can't get tight to him because he rolls you, so you have to back off, which means he allows us to now look forward and play forward, which allows the right back to overlap. So I said Son was having to come back in. You play with wing backs, so you've got 3 plus 2 wing backs, so you should be able to deal with Saka. Perisic and Lengley should be dealing with Saka, but actually Son's having to come back and help out as well. So now we've got you pinned in, and it's so important the role he plays because he offsets other teams. It's no surprise to me the first 2 come from his side as such, and he's beating players again. He doesn't get an assist for either or. But actually, it all starts from him, and this is where people have got to stop looking at stats because he's probably got the most pre-assist in Arsenal's team. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm. He's different at the moment, and without looking like he's doing much, but he just. Do you know? I was watching Liverpool the other day, and again, I don't watch Liverpool often. I don't like how they play, but I watched them, and I was like, I now know why Trent gets so much assist because everyone's so scared of Mo Salah. He pulls, he drops, and he just drops the ball to Trent and says, "Go on and cross it," because he's done all the hard work. He attracts the left winger back with him, which leaves Trent in acres, and now all Trent's got to do is put the ball in the right areas. And yes, it's still an art to doing it, but actually, if Trent's got a right winger who doesn't create that much fear, Trent doesn't have that much space, and now the cross is different. You're not under no pressure, or you're under more pressure. So yeah, I think he's had a good season, even though he looks like he's not doing as much as he's done before. For me, he's been one of our better players this season by far.
Can I just add to that? Because you make a really good point. I was arguing the same point recently because people do this Premier League, Fantasy Football League, whatever, and some people are not scoring points, but they're playing well. If you're going to the game or you're qualified to watch him play, you know he's playing well, but then he's not getting the direct assist, or he's not getting the goals or the points, and people think he's playing. I've heard people accuse him of not playing well. I'm thinking, no, surely Saka's playing well this season, But it's like you have to appreciate his appreciation of what he's doing. And he doesn't have that ego to say, right, I need to really get an assist here. A bit like Harry Kane. I've noticed Harry Kane shoots a lot when he could pass it. Salah does the same thing as well. And that's what I love about him. I have to echo what Sid said about him, that he's got that appreciation of the team, and that's what in the ethics as well. And that's what makes him a great player, not worrying about ego and how many goals he's got so far. What a great team player, as Sid was saying.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so Saka, what do we score him? I can't remember what he was
7, you said. Did you say 7 on Monday?
Yeah, 7, yeah.
I said 7, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sid, you got our last one. I'm not going to score the subs because they weren't on for very long at all, our subs.
Cool.
So Sid, you got Gabriel Jesus. And again, it is a different Jesus to what you saw at Man City. Like he's got a bit more freedom and license to really go and do what he's doing. So yeah, what's your score for Jesus?
Do you know what? It was a battle for a Brazil number 9, weren't it? It was the one that's playing for Brazil versus the one that can't get to play for Brazil. And at Man City, I think he wasn't. City don't play with a number 9; they play with a false striker. And when you've got Aguero, you're never going to get into that side, no matter what, right? And he had to leave. And I think he's gone to the right club, I think, because he's got Arteta, who was at City. So Arteta saw everything in the making for him. Maybe when Arteta left, he probably had that plan in his head from day one that this guy's going to come back to Arsenal with me because I know what he can do. I know what he will do for me. And I know how much of a player I can make him better player in every sense. And he's done that from the offset. The moment that first whistle went in the first game of the season, Jesus has been on it. And because he's been on it, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Xhaka, the likes of Saka, they've all come into the fold because they know they've now got a striker. No disrespect to Aubameyang and Lacazette, but this guy does levels. He does things that Aubameyang and Lacazette never used to do. He's not only a team player, he drifts in from the wide to come in. He creates. He scores goals today. There was that one thing in the first half where he ran into our box and he sent Emerson Royal to wherever, back to Brazil, didn't he? Yeah, he just left him for dead. The only thing missing was the finish, because if that would have gone in, Monty Keown would have been over the moon no matter what. Yeah, he's not one of the most biased commentators I've ever seen, but hey, he would have gone into meltdown. But his all-round game since he's gone to Arsenal and Arteta has improved. I mean, he's in the fantasy team as well. He's phenomenal with what he can do with the ball, off the ball. And what you said on Monday as well is when you go to a defender, it's the elbow in, he's pushing them, he's holding them. I'm here, mate. You want that ball? Take it off me. And he gives so much. And today he got his goal. Typical Predators goal. What are you always told as a striker? Keep in there, stay in there. Something's going to get spilled and just be the last man. And he was there and he got his goal. Not going to be the best goal of the season. He's not going to win in the goal of the season, but it's a touch right on the line and he scored. And I think he done really well. I think he leads from the front. And when you lead like that from the front, you've got other players around you. So I think I don't think he was a man of the match, but I think he gave an 8 performance. So I'm going to give him an 8.
I love that. Right, I'm going to get to the manager. Then I'm going to answer the question before we let Monday wrap us up. So,
cool.
I'm just going to give him a straight 10 today. Not saying it was a tactical masterclass or anything like that, but the fact is a North London derby. It's the second test. The first test was Man United. We fell short of that one, so now the pressure's on. But we've overcome it. Done it our way of playing. The guys kept their head, which we've seen in previous years when the games are intense. So against, I think, Liverpool City, Tottenham last year, we got red cards in them games. This time we didn't look like we was ever going to get anyone sent off. The boys were disciplined. And system-wise, again, we're playing these big teams and we're able to win the battle in terms of controlling the game. And we're looking more of a threat again and scoring goals. So I'll give him a 10. I think you got everything right today. But Sid, just going to ask you a question. I haven't actually caught up with the show you lot did on Friday, which is the combined 11. So how many Arsenal players did you get into the combined 11?
Right. So me and Sam, right, we done it. And because just before I done it, I was looking on Twitter and you had Arsenal fans putting every single Arsenal player in. You had Spurs fans putting every single Spurs player in, right? And I was just laughing, right? And I said to Sam, and I said it on the show before we did it, I said, listen, this is mine and Sam's opinion. We're just going on the players that we think, should get into this team. Because if somebody said to me and Sam yesterday, here's a Spurs and Arsenal 11, pick the best 11 players to go up against a Man United, Man City 11, who would you pick? And we went for it, and we put in 5 Arsenal players. Yeah.
So 6 Tottenham.
So there were 6. But if we're going back today's performance only,
I was going to ask you: are you still keeping that 11, or are you changing your mind? That's what I was going to ask you. To be fair,
going on today's performance, right? Well, to be fair, we had Saliba in, we had Ben White in, we had Partey was in as well, we had Odegaard in, and who else was in? I can't remember.
Saka, you lot said on the stream Saka.
And
You
Saka,
said you had Saka.
We had Saka in, and I don't think I probably would have changed it. Them 5, because them 5 proved today that we was right to put them in because they bossed the game. So, and
I'm not going to talk. Actually, look a little sad. I'm going to cut you short. I'm going to go to Monday because you're the neutral in this. Going on this season's form, I'm going to call some names: Lloris or Ramsdale.
Ramsdale. But saying that, Lloris has really surprised me. There's a couple of times this season where I've been like, wow, that's really impressive,
We got another guy here. Hold on, Canners,
No,
you're just gonna have to sit
I
quiet for a minute.
want to
We're
hear
gonna
from
come
the
back
man.
to you. We're gonna let Monday because I'm gonna ask Monday quick question because Sid and Sam done a little something yesterday, so we just want to get on Mondy's views on it. So we're gonna move to left back. We'll go with Zinchenko because he's my main left back. Zinchenko or Perisic, even though I know Perisic plays wing back.
Yeah, I think Shevchenko today,
Okay,
because not
so
just
that's
that.
two. That's two
I mean,
Arsenal.
because what he does with creating that overload in midfield, I know Sid was sort of dissing it, not dissing, but just saying he gave him a poor score. But I was thinking, actually, this guy, when he does the overload in midfield, it allows others like Xhaka and all these guys to play, and then you're outnumbering teams, and you've got a guy who's composed on the ball at the same time. And then what really covers that, you got Gabriel, Saliba, and maybe the right back, who's all centre backs in the back there. And it's only Man United this season, one team that's exploited it. So it works. And I think Shevchenko is doing a good job in that position right now. For him to go in there, he's really comfortable. He plays 1-2 touch. And suddenly, this is why you can play against Tottenham and don't worry about set pieces. Tottenham at one point had every man behind the ball. They didn't engage until they got to just by ahead of the D. They weren't engaged like that. And you still broke them down 3 times in open play. So Shevchenko's good.
I could go on with this all day, to be fair, because
We could, but don't forget,
the form that
you're
the
just
only
going
other
off.
one on a question. No, I'm going on the season. The only other one on a question. If you lot tell me did you have Son playing left wing?
Did we have Son playing left wing? Yeah, we did.
I hope not, because if you lot tell me Son's had a better season than Martinelli, I'm going to be disappointed in you, man. So, Amondi, can you clear that one up? Son, who scored 3 goals, he had a great game against Leicester, but ain't done nothing else all season, or Martinelli? Amondi, who are you going for on form this season? Please, just wrap this up for me.
Look, obviously, we came up against you, and as I said, I think Dallo and Malacia had worries against your 2 wide men. I was really impressed about how good they are. And Martinelli, man, with his quick feet and drive. I think a couple of times there, I thought, you run into traffic, get your head up and just pop and goes, that sort of thing. But overall, he's a threat. He's a danger. And if I'm a fullback, I'd be more inclined to be worried about Martinelli than Song, who's Song, obviously, class player, but he's not. They're different players. You can't really compare. I would pick Song over him traditionally, but if you've restricted my question to this season, so I will say Martinelli.
Yes.
And we have played against you, and Martinelli gave me almost heart flutters.
I'm just doing it to suit my agenda. I'll be honest. Now, there's no denying how good Son is, but this season, I'd say not say he's been bad, but he hasn't done what Son normally does.
Bad, mate. I'm telling you now. We about 10 minutes ago, you was talking about stats, and you were saying about Saka, how some people are saying he's not playing well, some people or whatever. I have this argument almost every week on Paxton Road TV. I'm a season ticket holder. When you're a season ticket holder and you go and watch the game, as opposed to sitting at home watching it highlights or whatever, you're seeing 2 different games. Yeah. So don't tell me while you're watching it at home that this player's not doing this, not doing that. When I'm at the ground and I'm seeing exactly what that player is doing, because half the time the camera is not panning on that player, but you're seeing other things. Yeah. And on that, I would say Martinelli, because for me, and I've said it, Son has not played well the whole season, and he should not be starting games that he has started, if you know what I mean. And that's the problem with our manager, where there's 2 players, Son and Kane, where he hasn't got the balls to drop him. He did against Leicester. He brought him on, and look what happened. He scores a hat-trick. So you've got to look at it from all angles. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them that sit at home, don't watch it from all angles. And then when people like us that go to the game week in, week out, we tell them differently. They're not having it. But you've got to see it to believe it. You know what I mean?
I hear you. And it's a beautiful way to end, Sid. I know you've got to bounce, so we're going to say goodbye to you for now. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate you. And fair play for jumping on the stream.
All right. Listen,
really
guys,
you.
like I said to you, best team won on the day. So big up to Arsenal. Congratulations. Enjoy your win. But just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
True.
Love you, guys. Appreciate you.
See you later.
Take care. All right. And as Sid was saying just now, he was talking about when you go to watch the matches, and we've got a guy who's just come back from being at the match. You lucky devil, you kind of.
Yeah.
You know, let's just pan in on you for a second. How was it? What was the atmosphere like? What was it like when the Tottenham fans walked out? Like, let me get a close up of you. Take it away.
Do you know what? It was So my voice is gone. It was just electric in there today. It was beautiful. Do you know what the thing is that I've been saying since last season at that inside the stadium, something's brewing, and it was lovely in there today. I can't. I've got such a huge grin on my face today, right now. But no, do you know what? We bossed that game from. I think they had a little stint, really. I think after they scored the penalty, but it wasn't really much in terms of penetration against us. But yeah, do you know what? That place now is rocking. It's rocking, and it's lovely to see. I can't wait for your mob to come back on Monday to our gaff.
January.
Yes. That's gonna be a heck of a game because you lot are playing well. Do you know what the thing is? It's gonna be an interesting season this year. It really is. It's Man City. Okay, they're probably in a league of their own at the moment, and then it's up for grabs for everyone else really to who's going to come second. It's going to be so interesting to see who gets the top 4 positions and etc. And I fully expect, do you know what, one of Chelsea or Liverpool, one of them two to drop out. I really do.
Yeah, I just checked. Liverpool just scored, so they're winning 3-2 now. Chelsea is still drawing 1-1. But
wow.
Yeah,
you know what?
They're not playing well. They're not playing.
No,
they could win
that's
games,
the
but they're not
thing.
playing well.
Yeah. Big of Sid to come on. I tell you what, big, of him to come on, man. Bless.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it would have been different because it was we're just different now, man. It's man.
It's refreshing. It feels nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice.
I'm trying to think of our weaknesses. I think that obviously
I know
there
it.
are some, but when Party plays, man, we're just like a different team, and us going forward. I'm trying to think of where. I don't know if we had someone like maybe like a Hakimi at right back or whatever, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Then that might be something, where we could improve, in terms of someone bombing forward. But we're playing well, man. We keep the ball so well. And Saliba. Did anyone catch the roll nuts he did on that Spurs?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what made Sid leave. I said about it, and his message sound coming off the stream. So yeah, I think it was on Emerson. It was nasty.
He rolled it through his legs. I was like, you can't do that, man. A centre back doing that. That's like, come on. But there was, I think there was a point as well in the first half where everyone was just screaming for him to get rid of the ball, and he must have had about 3 players around him, and he just kind of like said no, boom, 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 then knocked it off.
Party, yeah.
Listen, Saliba is different gravy. Everyone's just talking and saying how big he looks, but he can shift.
Yeah.
Listen, man, we've got a player there, man.
Yeah, Canners, I've been saying it all season. I'm going to keep saying it. Are we that good, or teams just coming up against us and playing badly? But
listen,
it's another one who we roll over again. Like it's not me disrespectful. They did have a moment in that first half where I was like, oh God, they're going to do a United on us.
They had a moment, and you know what? Every team's going to have a moment in the game. I mean, you can't, apart from Brentford a couple of weeks back, but Tottenham are a good team, man. And listen, I actually, it's the first time I've seen those players live, those front 3. They're a problem, and you can see what they are trying to do. I think they're a little bit off. I have to say, Conte as well is a heck of a manager, tactics wise. Listen, I was looking 4 or 5. But he just said, you know what? We ain't winning this game. The game's gone. Let me just switch it all up. I don't want to get embarrassed here. Because literally, it was going to happen. If he had kind of like just made one change, oh my God, we was opening them up like you would open up your proverbial can of beans every other minute. It was ridiculous. And listen, you have to hats off to him, man. He just said, look, game's gone. don't want this to become an
Don't
embarrassment.
get embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah, don't because 4 or 5 that would have killed them.
Mm.
And you know what? No one would have or could have said that we didn't deserve that. To do them by 4 or 5. But listen, those front 3, man, they're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. And I have to say, as much as I hate him, and everyone before when he was still at Everton, everyone I kept saying, I'll take him, Richarlison.
Mm.
Listen, he's a serious player. He's a proper horrible guy, but sometimes you need those kind of players in your team. Do you know what I mean? And look, it was him who caused the run for the penalty.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, I like
It's
your
good to
take
see on
it.
Monday
So,
on here, though, boy. I love seeing on Monday because on Monday, kind of like, you know what I mean? He's apart from when we play United, he's very kind of like, you know what I mean? I love to hear his views because he's very kind of circumspect and,
there's an element of
objective.
respect he's got for us at the moment, isn't it? And it's nice. It's nice to
And,
hear.
I like the grin because he knows actually United are playing some decent football right now as well. I
It's
like
probably
that.
double sweet for a minute because he's the only
Yeah.
person that can say we put them in their place. Like,
Yeah,
you're doing this thing, but you can't talk to me right now. So,
No, but isn't it great?
he's
I
looking
mean,
good.
we like Sid was saying, isn't it great that Trevor can come back and seeing the whole pitch.
Yeah.
Seeing it getting an echo, like seeing the whole pitch and observe everything, and he's qualified to really tell us what we're really seeing here. Because I'm watching Arsenal Football Club and I'm enjoying it. I think to be able to play like that and open teams up, like you said, hot knife through butter against a team that sat back today in Tottenham, every man behind the ball, not engaging you until sort of a certain area. I thought this is going to be a 0-0, or this is going to be really hard for you to break them down. And the fact that you got the first goal in open play was magnificent because that just changed the whole ethos of the game for Tottenham. They had to change it up and they had to sort of come out their show a bit, which left space in between lines for you to exploit. So I would love to go to Arsenal Football Club. I've seen the stadium. I was watching is how vast it is, and you can sit up sort of like a Barcelona in that tier and really observe the game. I'm sure a lot of people who go to the game would like to get a spot halfway line, sit up there, like all the scouts, all the Premiership teams who are observing Arsenal right now. How are we going to stop them? They should take a seat up there and really take it in, because I think the only issue that I have with Arsenal Football Club right now is that, yeah, it's okay having been better than everyone else and being so potent and being such a good fluid side, which Arsene Wenger's kind of created, because when he was playing his peak football, you were almost impossible to stop. Having that side of the game is brilliant, but it's just a little bit of danger when you come up against teams who I thought would happen today with Spurs, for example, the way they're set up, where they can absorb it and you wouldn't be able to break them down. But the fact you got 3 goals is immense, And I'm not going to go back to our game, but I think our system was what beat you. You're very good at one system, It's like learning a style of Kung Fu or something, But there's always someone who can counter that. And I think our system was able to beat you that day, just that day, mind you, because we were able to absorb it. And like you said earlier, Gumza, have the players like Ericsson and whatever, because once your block was non-existent, once Gabriel left the block for the first goal to try and cover Bruno, these how mistakes happen. And individually, your players like Saliba were magnificent, but I just think the system, I don't know, because you were saying earlier, it's not like you're going to turn up the tempo because you're loving it right now. Whereas I would like to see a bit more balance, as in, yeah, we're great going forward, we're great with our play, but we also have to be a bit more conservative when we come up against good teams. And now we've got like 13 games in 6 weeks. Can you maintain that momentum? It's a bit like Liverpool. They play one way, it works for them. They can walk through teams and play in that system. But eventually, you get tired or teams adapt and they can evolve and be able to deal with you. And I thought Spurs today would be, we're taking notes from how Man United played and exploited you, the gaps in your defence when there's 3 at the back or you overload in certain areas. And I expected that today. It didn't happen, even though in the first half they did have opportunities for it to happen, but you were able to cut it out. And just like Trevor was saying just now, Saliba, there's a couple of moves today, as I said about myself, where he got back and sort of shepherded the guy away from goal, or just his presence alone, you could hear him coming for you, that sort of thing. He's so immense as a player. So credit to Arsenal Football Club. If you keep doing what you're doing, I don't see many teams in the league that can live with you, even Liverpool, even Chelsea, if you're playing this sort of way. It's just, you might have to be a bit of in-game management sometimes, because you both said there's times in the game where they had a bit of possession, and those are the crucial moments where you maybe need to pull it back a bit and just be a bit more conservative.
I like that,
100%
man,
hear
because it's like, because I know Zach back in the day where he was a decent centre back. He liked to play. So, you know, that the endorsement there for Saliba there, boy.
Immense.
Yeah,
Immense.
I like that.
Yeah, 100%. And what you're saying is correct about just finding that balance. But the nice thing for me is we're not scared of teams no more. Before Arsenal 2-3 years ago, we're going to games that we're changing up tactically like mad just to try and survive. Like the days we've gone 5 at the back, all that, just to try and cover players. Is like, well, we know Louise ain't got pace, so we've got to put Tierney as a left centre back, and then put Maitland-Niles there, who's quick here, double up on Mo Salah, and it was all too much. Whereas now, doesn't matter what teams come in, we're almost believing in ourselves, and hopefully it can take us a long way. But yeah, that's enough about Arsenal today. I know we're going to jump off in a second. Obviously, you've got the big derby tomorrow, which we'll be watching, and actually, it's maybe a bit different for Arsenal fans because normally, whoever you play, we want United to get beat. But even Silver Fox is saying he wants United to go and beat City
I like
because
a
just to
draw
help
there.
us a little bit in it. So
I like a draw.
um, again, I think City plays similar style to us. We play similar style to City. They were the originators of this. We've just jumped on the bandwagon. But notoriously they struggled against United. Under Ollie, he had a great record against Pep. Probably one of the managers with the best record against Pep was probably Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And you done it to us the other day. You hurt us on the counter attack. Do you think it's just going to be
Where is the game? Sorry, where is the game?
Main Road. It's not Main Road. The
Etihad.
Etihad. Etihad. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your take on tomorrow, Monday? Are you quietly confident? Even if you take a beating in this one, it probably doesn't affect you too much because of where you are in your transition. But do you feel you can get a result out of this game?
Well, naturally, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it as well. But yeah, we've obviously discussed this throughout the week. We are confident based on we're built the way we're built right now. We can absorb pressure. We can play. I know Ole played a counter-attacking side, but we couldn't string passes together in the opposition half. We can do that now. We're starting to develop in all phases of the game, which will help us against a team like City who have that possession. And I think there's nothing in the game. It's early in the season. I don't think Pep is stupid. I think he will be wise enough to know, okay, Man United have been taken out the threat of Liverpool, denied Arsenal, who are sort of like mini-me, Man City in a way. And so I think a draw is on the cards because there's nothing to play for. It's not May. It's not April, May, where it's a crucial game like that. So I think Pep will be a bit more conservative. This is where he's a bit ahead of Arteta as the teacher and the master. At this stage of the season, he's been there, done that. He knows he doesn't really have to go all out to beat Man United tomorrow. It's not that important. Even though Arsenal are sort of running away with it right now. So I'd like to know what you guys think, but I do think it could be a draw and be a great result for both teams and going into the next 13 games in the next 6 weeks, which is going to be crazy.
Cannons, I'll let you go first. What's your take on tomorrow's game?
I actually think it will probably be a draw. I mean, look, both teams are in crazy form. I like the player. What's his name? Martinez. At the back for United. Yeah, man. I can see why.
Can he hold Haaland, though, do you reckon?
He's an Argentinian, man. You don't mess about with those Argentinians. You know what I mean? They're serious players, man. It would be a great matchup. Yeah, Haaland is a beast, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see. There's matchups all over. And the thing is, what you've got is one I've always rated him, and I know you don't rate him on Mondays, is Rashford. I actually rate him, man. Seriously. Pace frightens defenders. You ask any defender, do you know what I mean? If you know that someone, you can't catch him once he's past you, there's a problem, do you know what I mean? And he's got that in abundance. Yeah, I can see why Arteta wanted Martinez. I can really see it now. He's a baller. I just think I want to draw, but also I want Man City to lose though as well. I really do. But you lot though, I can see you lot being up there, and that's the problem. That is the problem I have. So both teams.
Is that like when we are where we are at the moment, Canners? We know we're not going to be there kind of end. So it's almost like actually let's be let's be logical.
Sensible. Let's be
We
sensible.
need to leave City alone. Let the man go. Like, just
I
leave
don't
them
want
be.
I don't want City becoming invincible just because obviously we've got that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
They
want
need to
them to
take
lose,
one L, but
yeah,
if it is
exactly.
Tottenham who are going to rival them, we need City to win that. So let City go. Let's just worry about top 4 this season. That's what my
That's
mind
what
is at.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's a toughie. I mean, as much as I want to see City lose, I don't want United, picking up the 3 points there. Listen, because any team, any points you get against City is going to be a bonus. That's how you're going to look at it, isn't it? Really, because you're expecting to lose. So it's going to be a good game, man. Some match up all over the pitch. From obviously Haaland against, it could be Varane, because he's starting to play now. And then you got obviously midfield. You got Casemiro against the likes of Rodri and Gundogan, and yeah, listen, man, it's going to be a decent game. I'm actually looking forward to our Sunday.
You can sit back and enjoy it.
You can sit back and chill.
Enjoy it. We've done what we had to do.
You get a cup of rosé, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just watch.
Yeah, but listen, I know it was off stream. I had them Tottenham boys rattled earlier. I come on the stream. I said, I'm not here to talk. It's Paxton Road and chill time. I had my popcorn. I had my coffee. I had my mug. I don't know where it's gone now, but I was just in the background, just chilling. I had front row seat to Paxton Road and chill. So tomorrow, if United get beat, I'll have my front row seat again, please, on Monday. But it should be a good game. I think it's one of them games that are set up tactically brilliant. Again, on Arsenal play City, it's going to be a free-flowing game of football. But I think United
this is where
against
Ten
City is
Hag
gonna
earns his money. This is where he kind of okay. Let's see what kind of manager he is now. Let's see.
Can you nullify them and then hurt them? And before, I think the Arsenal game, I would have said I can't see it. After how you done that against Arsenal, I said actually, do you know what? Maybe you can, because teams have got a City this year. Newcastle pushed them very close. Villa got a draw, and they're not. No, Newcastle are hammering the team today. They're not United. Do you know what I mean? You've really got players to hurt. So I can see why there is a bit of optimism in your team. But I think it's similar to today's game. I think if City can get a goal first, and that might change the game. But if you guys can stay in it for as long as possible, do you know what I mean? It only takes one opportunity, and you got that. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be really. And again, your record against City has been very, very good the last few years.
That's what I was saying. I was going to say,
you and Spurs, it's Tottenham and Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah,
got a good record against City.
At Old Trafford, I would have gone for City, but at their ground, you lot have seem to got some Indian sign over them.
You got the formula. That's what it is. So yeah, I'm just going to be able to sit back, watch it, and enjoy it with kind of no pressure. I know it's early in the season, so it's a bit different than towards the end where you're counting points.
It's a nice game to watch. It's a nice game.
We could just sit back and watch it either way. You could just enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to it. And as I said, on Monday, me and you speak all the time, and I've always said I have a respect for United because of what we went through as two clubs. And as much as it's lovely to see United being in the mud, at the same time, I like United being competitive. So actually, it's a nice one to see them actually on the way back, because what I want to see is Arsenal United going at it again.
Yeah,
like there's no better feeling. As I said, even this Tottenham game, it doesn't feel me like United game does.
I know what you're saying.
2 days before, my mind's gone. I can't sleep properly. Like I'm anxious because I'm thinking, please, we can't lose to these men again. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the Tottenham, when they're just Tottenham in it. So yeah, they had a couple of years of whatever, but it's not really. I don't look at that as Tottenham. So. Yeah, it's nice to see United finally kind of getting it right. Yes, I don't want them winning leagues again, but actually, I would love a little FA Cup showdown between United and Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? I need one of them wins again. I miss that rivalry, man. I miss the.
It's the fans. It's the man's like on Monday, isn't it? And their fans, you know what I mean? It's like their man's chat.
I need it back. But do you know? I talked to someone the other day, and I was telling my son about the rivalry, and he was saying he's young, he's 15, so he didn't really see it. And I was like, there was a time. I said, I remember when Schmeichel and Henry popped a football, and he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he popped a football." And I don't know if you remember it.
Ian Wright.
Ian Wright jumped in on Schmeichel. Yeah, he jumped in 2-footed, hit Schmeichel, and I said, "Pop the football." And my son's like, "You're lying." I said, "Find it on YouTube." I can't find it, but he didn't believe me that was what that was like. Do you know what I mean? That game was fierce.
Today would have get sent off for that. That would have gone back to
no doubt. Yeah.
Remember, going back before that, there was the fight with McClare and There was a big brawl, wasn't there?
Yeah. No, I remember
We
that, the
broke
21-man
Arsenal
brawl. We got docked
Yeah,
points for that, I remember.
Paul Davis come along and it's like, all right, stop the fight.
Don't
you
want
know?
no smoke.
Well, he wasn't there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. I mean, it's fantastic rivalry. And you know what? I'm come on the Armory, but I have to salute you guys. I mean, Trevor, value for money, man. Getting a season ticket this year, you must be lapping up. Yeah, man. What kind of thing is that? It's amazing the comeback, and it just shows being persistent with the manager. See, you know, he's with an idea, with a system of play. You know, oh my God, you must be drooling right now as Arsenal fans. It's really, really top level football. I was shown a little clip the other day of like, I think maybe 2016 or 15 with you had Kasola, Wiltshire, a few guys, Grozitsky, and I'm thinking, the play, my gosh, I think, oh yeah, that's Arsenal. But the Arsenal era before that, even, you know, it's like, wow. And you're coming back like that, and it's great.
Do you know what?
An identity of football, which is just Arsenal way. It's coming, and you're doing it brilliantly right now.
Absolutely, and the thing is, what I love about the squad now is that no one can rough us up because the spine of our team is all 6 foot plus. You know, I'm telling you, man, it's like Saliba and Gabriel are 6 foot plus. They're units. Then you got Partey in the middle. Then you got, you know, even at Xhaka. Well. Listen, it's a big team we got. Even though, you know, you got Ben White, he's 6 foot plus.
Yeah, him or Tommy are big.
Exactly.
And a vocal keeper who
absolutely.
And sorry, just to add to that, I think like before Arsenal, you've got to earn the right to play. And then we lost to Brentford and Brighton because they earned the right to play physicality. But once you can get them through that and say, right, we're going to earn the right to play, going out there, like you said, that have that physicality and you're going to beat most teams in the league. Because then once you get that out of the way, and it's mano with like systems and players, you're going to beat most teams like us as well. Oh my gosh, go
Listen, I want Liverpool to go through the mire as much as because I tell you what, there will come a point where, do you know what, it's too much of a gap. They might as well write off the league now. For them right now.
7th season syndrome for Klopp again, boy. I'm
them
loving
ones,
it.
What a league.
That's crazy, isn't it? How that all is coming about, boy.
Yeah, but so just quickly before we wrap up, so I've got to bounce in a second. Unless you two want to stay on, feel free to message in the private chat. A picture came in the other day. It says, to every Arsenal fan who stood by Arteta during the diabolical run, I salute you. Your faith is unmatched. And the run was 10 games. We lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lost 7, drew 2, and won 1. Wow. And we stuck by the manager through that. So that is just to say, sometimes you have to believe in the project. I know.
Do you know what?
But
there's a caveat to that, right? And the thing is, the fans didn't stick. Well, a lot of fans did.
I was there. I stayed there. I stayed. I was still.
A lot of fans didn't stick by the manager. You have to commend the board for sticking with the manager, and I think that goes unnoticed. Listen, that board. They get a lot of pelters and stuff, and you know about certain decisions that have been made. But listen, man, sometimes you have to give credit where credit's due, man. It's like, listen, they've given him money, they've got him the players that obviously to work in his system, and they're doing everything. They're backing him, man, and that particular run shows how much they actually backed him.
Yeah, really, and even backed him to let certain big players leave on free.
Yes.
You forced the Bammy out.
Because Barcelona took the absolute piss.
Disciplined players as well.
Yeah, because the thing I see is that Barcelona took the piss. They got them in the free, and then we missed a trick there. But they got them in the free, and then they sold them for 10 mil. Piss take.
Yeah, but we complaining because we got Jesus firing at the moment. So everything for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Quick question to you, Gumza.
But right. Yeah, go for it.
Last season, does Lacazette score that goal?
Don't even bring his name up. And the worst thing is, I was Lacazette's biggest defender last season, and I feel so ashamed to admit it, boy. But Lacazette would have been next to Partey at that moment.
He would have been marking Partey, innit?
Yeah, boy, the defensive striker guy. But again, it's the foresight. Even rival fans are saying no one saw this in Jesus. Like, we saw the player, but no one saw this Jesus.
Wow.
Listen, man,
it was a risk letting Aubameyang go.
Yeah.
But it's kind of paying off. You know what I mean? We was all screaming, we got to sign a striker in January, and they didn't panic buy. Arsenal of previous years, we panic buy like Lucas Perez, and we can go on for hours about panic buys. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
Vlahovic
they
did
took
us
the
a
risk.
favour by
Yeah,
rejecting
'cause
us.
I don't think he would be doing what Jesus. I don't think it would be the same
No,
team if Vlahovic.
not
So
at all.
we
Not
could have
at
panicked.
all.
We could have brought Isaac. Like we could have easily panicked by. But we stuck to the principles. And even with the defensive midfielder thing, we didn't panic by. Liverpool went and got Arthur and talk about they want to send him back. Do you know what I mean? We could have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's frustrating sometimes when you want to just bring the one extra player in, because we could all see if Partey gets injured, it could really hamper our season. But they're getting a lot of things right, and we've got to kind of give them credit. Except
That's the
I
thing,
spoke
man.
about on Paxton Road. The
100.
Ramsdale one is the biggest eyesight for me of fans getting it wrong, because
Oh,
everybody, rival fans are laughing, Arsenal fans are going crazy. Why are we spending 20-something million on a backup goalkeeper? And yeah, he's
Lloris
done
was
the
that
business.
mistake, isn't it, for Jesus' goal? That was his
Mm,
mistake.
Yeah.
And it was, come on, man, that's bread and butter for an international goalkeeper.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting things right. So I'm happy. Amandi looks happy. Canners, I know you're happy. It's a
Right.
great weekend.
This is I can't stop grinning. I love the
Let's
Emirates.
just hope
I love
Brighton
this
and Palace-
game. I love this game.
See, there's a party
Let's
going
just
on.
hope Brighton and Palace go.
There will be, boy. It's all going to be flowing soon, boy. Let me tell you. Oh
Yeah,
my
boy.
God.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, guys, on that, let's wrap up, because we've done an hour and a half, and that was
I
meant to be a half an
know.
hour
I
stream.
know.
But I appreciate Amandi jumping
Can I
on.
just say,
Canners, thank
what
you
a
for
game
getting back when
to
you
beat
did.
Tottenham like that. Tottenham ain't no mugs. To beat them like that is credit to you guys, man. You need to be on the up. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy the football. And the
Oh, we will.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. And much respect. Just want to say quickly as well, Gums, I was in the kitchen. I was listening to the show, and I couldn't type in anything, but I was just listening to you. The way you cover the game is absolutely exceptional, bruv. No arms, no R's, everything else. Really on point. And I was like, oh my God, Gums, man, I have to big you up somehow.
Nah,
So,
blessings, Amandi.
forgive me
Appreciate it.
for coming on like this, but honestly, you credit to the channel. Trev, credit to the channel. You
Thank
guys
you,
are doing a
brother,
great
man.
job on.
Bless.
Please, everyone, press the like button. Armory is on the up as with Arsenal. So big up to you guys.
Love it. Love it.
Bless.
Canners, any last words?
Monday. Sorry?
Any last words before you sign off?
Oh man, it's just there's so many. I could go on, but you man's go and get something to eat, man. Go and get a drink. You know what I mean? Enjoy your Saturday night, whatever you're gonna do. And yeah, for us Gunners and everything, we're gonna have that nice cup of tea and the slippers on and watch the game, the Manchester Derby tomorrow.
Just me.
Oh boy.
But on that note, guys, appreciate everyone tuning in. Monday, Canners, Sid, thank you for jumping on as well. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, that's
it's
big.
a great stream, man.
Big.
A great day. Yeah, fair play to him for coming on, because yeah, it's not easy. And again, even all the Paxton Road boys, actually, because I was on their channel, and none of them focused on the red card. None of them did. They said Arsenal were the
Was
better
it? I
team.
didn't see it. Was it a red?
Letter of the law, yes. London
Yeah.
Derby, I'm just like, it's soft. Like, he hasn't
It
put
was
any real
soft,
force.
yeah.
It was just it's silly, really silly. Stupid. But letter of the law, it's late, it's over the top, and his studs were showing.
I've
Martinelli,
seen worse.
yeah, 100%. But I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? You take it. It's about time we got a bit of luck, because normally it's us getting the red cards.
What was
in them
that?
games,
Was that like VAR in Taylor's ear?
Nah, he gave a straight red. He gave a straight red.
Serious? Okay.
Yeah, he gave a straight
Because
red.
it took him long to get that card out, so I thought someone was in his ear.
Yeah, well, from what we saw, the replay, they were showing a replay of it, weren't they? And then next thing you know, you heard the crowd behind. It was like you could hear the crowd when they're showing the replay, and then you heard the vocals kind of change. And I was like, is he giving a red there or something? And it cut back, and he had given him the red card.
Yeah.
I think
Because
even the fans thought it'd be a
everyone
yellow.
with me, I saw it. Everyone was like, "What are you getting up for?" I was like, "He's just giving a red card," because I saw the Brandt's red card. It's like, yeah, but I couldn't believe it because it looked innocuous. To be fair,
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't nothing. It was soft.
from where I am anyway, because obviously it's right the other side of there. But fair play.
But but say to be fair to the Paxton boys, none of them focused on that decision. They were more frustrated.
We had scored 3 goals before that, had we?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think their frustrations is more coming with Emerson Royale starting over Jed Spence now. I think they've had enough of that right side. So yeah. Anyway, I said I just sat back with my popcorn. I just listened and took it all in as a live spectator of a great show. It was like I was in the crowd watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the 80s. That's what it felt like. It was beautiful. But yeah, guys, we've got to bounce. But appreciate
Thank you very much.
Monday, good luck tomorrow. And
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
we'll be tuned into the United agenda. But for now, we are top of the league. So we are top of the league for another week. You got to put up with us. Another week you got to put up with us. So guys, hit the likes, hit the comment section, and we love you all. Appreciate you.
Bless.
I can't.